It has never been easy to be a Negro in Alabama. Times have often been bad, and they've never been good. But there's always been cotton to plant, to chop, to pick, and to plow. Cotton has been a misery, but at least it's been a meal ticket. Now, it's not even that. The machines have taken over, and a field that once needed 100 Negroes today barely supports 3. 10 years ago, machines harvested only 2% of Alabama's cotton. This year, they will harvest more than 80%. The Negroes must look elsewhere for jobs, and the jobs are not in Alabama. Some go north. Many others remain, often because they are so poor, so tired, and so hungry that they can't even get up and go. In the long history of black belt deprivation, there have never been times as bad as these. Last spring, the Field Foundation sent 6 prominent doctors to investigate hunger in Mississippi. One of these was Dr. Raymond Wheeler, who has lived and practiced in the South all his life. We asked Dr. Wheeler to visit Hale County, Alabama.
Slow starvation has become part of the Southern way of life. The apathy and the violence, the ironic but brutal contrast that pass for Southern traditions are impossible to believe until you have seen them.
You have how many children to feed?
10.
10 children?
Yeah.
Are there times when you don't have enough food at the house to go around?
Yes, lots of time.
There are times
Just have to make out what I have, give each one of them a little what I have.
What did you have for dinner today?
I didn't have any dinner.
You're going to have a baby before long.
Yes.
What kind of food do you eat?
Rice, chicken sometimes.
What else do you eat?
That's all. Water.
Mrs. Sanders, what does your husband do for a living?
He gets job in hayfields.
In hayfields?
Yes.
How much does he make when he's working?
From $3 to $4 a day.
$3 to $4 a day?
Yes.
And he hasn't worked now in 3 or 4 weeks?
Yes.
Do you get food stamps?
No, because I'm not able to get them.
Why?
I ain't got them this month. They cost $70 and I don't have it.
Have you asked for any help from anyone in raising the money to buy those stamps?
No, say there ain't no need.
Why?
They ain't gonna give it to you.
Have you been down to the welfare department and talked to them, or has your husband?
No, so the last time I went to the welfare, the lady told me, said if you have a living husband, that they couldn't give you no help.
Even if he's not working?
Yes.
3 weeks after talking to Dr. Wheeler, Mrs. Sanders gave birth to a severely malnourished baby. 2 days later, the baby died. Alabama's solution to hunger in 15 counties is the federal food stamp program. The U.S. Department of Agriculture sponsors the program, but it is administered locally by the states and counties. Each county has a central office where the stamps are sold.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Food stamps are a means of giving a family a bonus. For a cash payment, $25 for instance, a family receives food stamps worth much more money, perhaps $70 or $80. The stamps, in other words, are worth much more than the cash paid for them.
It has a $2 stamp in it that looks like this. Your green book is worth $3. It has a 50-cent stamp in it for small items. Your white book is worth $2.
The cost of stamps varies from family to family. Coupons worth $80, for instance, may cost one family $40 and another only $15. This cost is set by local officials. Many factors affect the cost, such as the size of the family, income, and how much the family usually spends each month for food.
You may detach the stamps if you are in front of the cashier, but do not detach a stamp and send it to the grocery store with this.
Food stamps can be used at local grocery stores and supermarkets. They allow a family to purchase whatever it wants in the way of food. If the family uses them wisely, stamps can provide a more balanced diet than surplus commodities. But a family may not buy food stamps a day at a time or a week at a time. They must buy a month's supply or a half-month supply all at once. For many Alabamans, it is difficult to accumulate any sum of money, even as little as $5 or $10 on a given day. What little money they do get must go immediately to pay an urgent debt or to feed an urgently hungry mouth.
78.80. Thank you. $20.
Let's take your sweater off. Okay?
Dr. Wheeler examined the children of a family that can't afford food stamps. Their father had not worked in 5 weeks.
Way up high, like that. Come on. We've got it. Good girl. When children don't get enough to eat, their initial response to the world is mistrust.
Louise?
The children here get up hungry, go to bed hungry, and never know anything else in between.
Got kind of a bad cold.
They are hungry all the time. They can't even feel the depth of their own hunger. Even a superficial examination of these children reveals the unmistakable effects that their skimpy, monotonous meals must inevitably produce. In the first year of their lives, these children fall behind. In each subsequent year, they fall further behind, and they never catch up. Malnutrition impairs their performance for life.
Hi, Charles. How old are you?
14.
You go to school?
Yes.
Do you get breakfast at home before you go?
Yes. Some have peas.
You have peas.
Yeah.
Well, when you get to school, what do you have to eat there?
Yes.
You don't have anything to eat when you're at school?
Yes.
Is there any place at school where you can buy something to eat or get something to eat? Do they cook a meal for you there?
Yes.
Well, why don't you have some?
I don't have money to buy.
You don't have the money to buy it?
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
25 cents.
It costs 25 cents to have something to eat at school.
Yes.
Well, what do you do while the other children are eating?
They sit there.
Where do you sit?
They sit where the children be sitting.
How do you feel toward the other children who are eating when you don't have anything?
Be ashamed.
Are you ashamed?
Yeah, be hungry.
Why are you ashamed?
I don't have no money.
Dr. Wheeler talked to a woman whose family has been sharecroppers ever since they stopped being slaves. The woman and her husband and 14 children and grandchildren still live on the farm, but it does not support them anymore.
Miss Carlisle, why don't you raise your own food?
Well, I raise just what I can. We raise that okra. We raise all stuff like that in gardens. When we can, but not no corn. That's the only food we can grow in the food line.
Why no corn?
But we don't have no corn acres.
What do you mean?
The landlord said he sold the corn acres to the government. And we can't have no corn.
So then who plants the corn on it?
Don't nobody plant none. Just the land for the corn lays out into nothing.
The land's there,
That's right.
but
Ain't nothing
nobody
there.
plants it.
That's right. Can't plant it. When you sell it to the government, and whoever sell it gets a check on. You can't raise nothing on it. Just have to stay there. So we've been raising corn. having corn to raise whole chickens, turkeys, so. But I can't raise them because I don't have food to feed them. Can't raise corn and I can't buy it.
Now that you can buy food stamps, aren't you able to get more food for your family?
I can't buy them every 2 weeks because I don't have the money. I don't have the $33 every 2 weeks. I don't have nowhere to get it from. My husband don't make but $3.50 a day for the city. And that he don't make over $22 or $23 a week. And I couldn't get the food stamps. They set your price what they want you to pay. If you ain't got that price, why you don't get no food stamps? I just have to go along with it because I can't do no better. None of the white people, they don't care how you live. Work for them is all right. But the living problems, they don't care too much for that.
Why is that?
They don't treat us like they used to treat us. They used to treat us a lot better than they do now. But they don't do that no more. And I feel like it because the children go to school together and do a little voting, something they never have did. I never known them to do it. And the younger group can speak a little more plainer, a little more for themselves than we used to could. And that's why the average of the young people is leaving home, going north, why they've been all their life. Some have never been nowhere in their life, but they're leaving Alabama going north. Because they're getting better jobs and they're getting better treatments. The younger people. But see, we older people, we still here in it. We ain't like the young ones. And that's the reason I figure they don't care where we go or stay here.
Why do you think they don't care?
I know they don't care. I don't have to think they don't care. I know they don't care.
The families we have visited tonight are sadly more typical than unique. Hunger can be found many places in the United States. Too many places. 10 million Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. More than 1,000 counties in need of food programs have no program whatsoever. States and counties often keep out federal food programs. Surplus commodities means less food purchased in local stores, and states and counties must share in the cost of food stamps. There is also the failure of these programs themselves. Surplus commodities are free, but do not contain the right foods. Food stamps are not free, and too often the people who need them most can't afford them. The Department of Agriculture has emergency power to bring food to hungry people in any county in the United States. So far, it has been reluctant to exercise this power. In the last 2 years, the Department of Agriculture has quietly turned back to the Treasury $408 million that could have been used to feed hungry Americans. CBS News has learned that this year, the department plans to turn back to the Treasury another $227 million, more money than ever before. According to the Department of Agriculture, the existing food programs are run as efficiently as possible without this money. Meantime, American farmers in recent weeks have slaughtered and buried 14,000 hogs because, they say, there's no market for them. The Department of Agriculture protects farmers, not consumers, especially not destitute consumers. The federal food program might be better administered by the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, or by a special commission whose only concern would be to see that hungry Americans are fed. We're talking about 10 million Americans. In this country, the most basic human need must become a human right. This is Charles Kuralt for CBS Reports.